Hey, what's up, everybody? I got a couple ideas rolling around in my head. I've been thinking a lot about what makes something quality. And I define quality as trusted to fulfill its purpose. So if you trust something, you share weight with it. If I trust my wife, I'm going to lean on her with certain aspects. If I don't trust her, then I'm going to carry the weight of my world all by myself, my anxieties, my worries, the things I like, the things I want to accomplish, my responsibilities, all that stuff is going to be on me, and that it gets pretty heavy. If I trust her, I'll share some of that weight with her, and I'll lean on her, and life will feel a little bit less heavy. So, such is the importance of relationships. So what makes a good quality relationship is if you can trust it to fulfill its purpose. Because if you lean on something, you trust something, and it lets you down, then it's not a good quality relationship because it dropped the weight that you gave them. And so, like a chair, if I need it to hold my weight and one of the legs breaks and I fall and I get butt hurt, physically and metaphysically, I'm not going to trust the chair anymore because it's a low quality chair. It had one purpose, to hold my weight, and it let me down. It didn't fulfill its purpose, so it's a low quality chair. Now, we can take that and we could say, okay, but just because a chair holds me up doesn't mean it's high quality. I want it to be comfortable, I want it to look good, and I want it to be cheap. It's like, I need all of those things. And then you could say, well, if you trust it to fulfill all of those purposes, then it would be high quality to you. So let's say you want it to hold you up and you want it to be comfortable. And it holds you up, like you can sit on it, but it's so uncomfortable. That means it's got a 1 out of 2 success rate relative to you, right? So you can't trust it to fulfill your needs. Like, it doesn't fulfill its purpose to you because it only got half. And so it's not going to be a good relationship because what it's doing for you is not what you need. So then you could think, like, what's your relationship with the people around you? You have your parents, you have your family, and friends, and you got your acquaintances, you got your wife, you got your children, and all of these have different roles in life. And the roles tell you what their purpose is, what their frame is that they're trying to, what their place is for you in life. So you could say, like, for a friend, the role of a friend is to help you progress in life. It's to help you move forward, help you trot forward. And they can do that in a bunch of different ways, such as, when you're sad, giving you hope. When you have something go really well in your life, they celebrate with you. They give you gifts, they spend time with you and have fun with you, give you good advice when you need it. Now, if you know somebody that you consider to be a friend and they don't do those things, then I don't see how they're a friend, because you can't trust them to fulfill the purpose of the role that they're in. You lean on them for what? Everything I just listed off, to help you progress in life. And some people have friends that not only don't do that, but they actively work against them. And somehow they still consider them to be friends. It's like, they don't give them gifts. In fact, if they just take, they don't celebrate with them. In fact, they're jealous or envious of somebody being more successful than them. Anytime something bad happens, they're secretly happy, and they may even try to make it worse because they got this one-upmanship going on, maybe out of insecurity or whatever. They constantly lie. And so it's like, that's not a good relationship. Why? Because you can't trust it to fulfill its purpose. And the purpose is equal to the role. And you could say the role is the frame. The role is, here is what this is to me in my life. So the purpose of my wife is going to be different than the purpose of my friends, on purpose, because it's a different role. It's a different frame at which the relationship is expressed. So I'm going to lean on my wife for, emotional things, more so than I'm going to lean on my friends. And that's okay, because the role is different. And so if I speak more to my friends about stuff than I do to my wife, then I'm not saying that it's unusual. I'm just saying that it means that you're probably closer with your friends. I'm just being real honest with you. I do not have a friend that I trust with more than my wife. I find that to be odd, because your wife, it's kind of like a hierarchy rank ladder. You have your acquaintance. That's a dog. You have your acquaintance that you don't share with much. In fact, you just share them with small talk. You talk about the weather, because let's be honest, if somebody fails at the level of the weather, you can't trust them to even talk about that. How can you trust them with your deepest, darkest secrets? Okay, let's just be real here. Okay, so small talk is like a filtering process. It's like, out of the smallest interaction that I've had with you, I don't know if I'll ever see you again. Can I at least trust you with that? And if the answer is no, I am not giving you anything else. And if you can, then okay, so maybe we can become friends. So that would be the next step. You go acquaintance to friend. And then you share a little bit more with them. You give them a little bit more. You trust them a little bit more. You give them a little bit more weight to hold. And if they can hold it, then maybe you consider your friend to be family. They're not just a friend, they're a part of the family now. Well, then you give them even more. And so on and so forth until you're married. And so it's like, obviously if they're a dude, then you can't do that, because I'm a dude. And I don't think that way. But if it's a girl, and it happened to be with my wife, it's like I brought her all the way in. There is no separation between us now. And if there is, then we try our best to eliminate the distance. And honestly, I think that's what intimacy is. It's like there's a distance between you two. The more you trust each other, the more you lean on each other. The ultimate leaning is the ultimate intimacy, because it's the elimination of all distance. And I mean that physically and metaphysically. So when my wife and I are doing really well, we share the weight of our worlds with each other so much that we are in an equilibrium. We're just in total balance. And that's normal. And so, but that's proportionate to the role that I've given her. I chose her to fulfill that. So if the relationship is in bad condition, you could say that I cannot trust her to fulfill that purpose. And so it would be a bad relationship, because it'd be low quality. And couples ebb and flow. I'm not going to say we're perfect, but I will say I've been highly satisfied with the relationship. So the idea of quality when it comes to what you relate to, which is what relationship means, relative, where you are compared to everything else. Quantity is the amount of interaction that you have with something. If you interact with something a lot, it means you have a relationship. The ship part is the condition of the relationship. What's the quality of it? So there's like a little quadrant going on. If you have one interaction and it was bad, then you have low quantity, low quality. If you have one interaction and it was good, then you have low quantity, high quality. That's the difference between someone flipping you off in traffic and someone opening a door for you. You don't know that person, you'll probably never see him again. But one was good and one was bad. If you have high quantity with the lots of interaction with somebody who sucks, that means you have a relationship that you consistently have to deal with somebody that's not looking out for you. You can't trust them. And then if you have high interaction with somebody who is looking out for you and it's constantly nice and it's constantly helping you, and that's a quality relationship. And so you can look at your life with people and things and what you do. It's like, what are you in relationship with? And whatever the highest quality thing is, like, you just look at, what do I need this thing for? Is it the best thing to fulfill this purpose? And if the answer is yes, that means it's high quality. And then you just want to smash the quantity button. Like the leg. There's this thing in Mortal Kombat, and it's like a leg sweep kick. And once you figure out what the leg sweep kick is, it's basically like the character drops down and does a spinning leg kick, and it throws the other character up into the air. And if you keep hitting the button before the character comes down, you can keep doing this kick. And so they never get a chance to like get back on their feet. And people just win this way. They call it button mashing. And so, like, if you consider the enemy to be a bad relationship, and you consider the friend to be a good relationship, you figure out who the friends are, the high quality people, the people that you can trust the most to fulfill the purpose, and then you just button mash as much as you can. And that would be the most quantity on the highest quality. And that's how you get leverage out of life. But that's expressed through the proper frame. And the proper frame is whatever serves its purpose the most. And so, yeah, you gotta look to things like, for instance, and I'll just give you one example before I hop off here, because I'm getting at the end of my walk. But if I'm needing a productive way for me to be by myself, probably not good to watch porn. You know, it's like, it's obvious, but the purpose, to get alone time, the frame, awful, low quality, it won't do anything for me, I can't trust it, in fact, it'll work against me. And so what would be a good thing? To read. Go read a book, you know, because I can trust it. And so I know that's a silly example, but like, my relationship with the things around me, if they are not serving me, then they're gone. And I mean that. Like, they're gone. I don't have time for low quality relationships. Now there's obviously some room for nuance there, but you know, we're going to be hashing that out over the next couple days. So, you know, stay tuned.